the ox in 2026 walks in with 3 great stars and a small backup choir of do-re-mi negative stars. Okay, if I had to sum up your year ahead in one line, big things, big plans, and big moves. Okay, and naturally, when you are playing big, a few bumps in the road are par for the course. So therefore, for the ox, this is the year to consolidate your power base in business, in career, in finance, even your personal life, because in 2027, you need to be ready to take center stage as the year breaker. Hey there, I'm Pauline Cheng, Bazi and Feng Shui practitioner, and I use this art to empower, not to disempower. But before we dive into what you've got, what 2026 has got in store for you, let's hit the rewind button for a sec. Let's check out what happened in 2025. Okay, so 2025, the ox had a 3 harmony combination with the Grand Duke, which means that you were already syncing with the flow of the year. Now, you also had the elegant seal. This is part of the intelligence suite. It's a huge boost for anything involving learning, creativity, and strategic thinking. So overall, 2025 was a strong year for upskilling and collaborations, especially if you leaned into like new tools, training, or creative partnerships. Now, of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. With the white tiger and the sky warrior in the mix, you probably had to burn through quite a bit of energy, maybe even deal with some tension or pushback. Still, I hope that you made the most of the upgrade in 2025, because now it's time to go bigger. So to get you fired up, let's start with 2 of your major power stars in 2026, the Emperor, okay, and the National Treasure. Let's start with the Emperor. As the name suggests, this star is all about leadership, authority, and doing big things, because emperors do big things, right? They command resources, they build reputations, they inspire loyalty, they initiate big plans. Now, pair that with the National Treasure, and boom, you got a double whammy. This star plays a dual role in your chart. Number 1, it's a recognition star, as if the world suddenly discovers you. Jang jang. Okay, and this can bring promotions, pay bumps, well-deserved rewards, especially if you had made the most of 2025's upskilling and collaborations. But here's the second role of the National Treasure. It's a strategic one. The National Treasure also functions like a CFO. If the Emperor has access to resources, the National Treasure manages it. It boosts your financial planning, budgeting, decision-making muscles. Now, there's a reason these stars show up before you become the year breaker. Okay, it's the universe handing you the resources and title first, so that you are equipped for the changes to come. Think promotion now, transformation later. That's a much smoother ride. Okay, now let me just be clear. Okay, not everyone manages to activate these stars by default, because you got to work towards them. While both stars are mostly positive, they do come with a small shadow, and that shadow would be ego, which brings us to the Emperor and National Treasure gives you power, prestige, and visibility. But if you're not careful, they also serve up a steaming side of hubris, this one. And hubris always thinks it's the exception until it's not. Enter the brutal defeat. This is the cosmic equivalent of a karmic slap. This star can either be an external or internal black swan event. It brings sudden roadblocks, unexpected losses, or abrupt detours that force you to stop, pivot, or pay up. Okay, and why does it hit hardest when paired with the Emperor and National Treasure? Because the brutal defeat is ego-triggered. It happens when you're flying high, drunk on success, and forgot to build safety nets. No backup plan, no contingency, just this is blind overconfidence. Okay, but here's the twist. If you had truly activated the national treasure, it can neutralize the damage. Okay, it can because the national treasure governs risk assessment and financial discipline, which means that if you manage your resources wisely, brutal defeat doesn't have to be, well, brutal. So let's make this real. Okay, imagine a trader on a winning streak. He starts believing that he has the Midas touch. He stops thinking, he stops researching, he starts betting recklessly. Okay, no limits, no fallback, okay, no cut loss. Okay, just ego on autopilot, and then whammy, brutal defeat. Okay, so we don't want that. So what's the message? Don't risk everything on a single throw of the dice. Have a backup plan. Keep your humility in check even when you're winning, okay? Because the brutal defeat triggers, okay? And that's when, because when the brutal defeat triggers, sorry, that's when things starts to slide south, okay? Now begins the string of do-re-mi negative stars. Now actually it's not that many lah, okay? So don't panic, okay? Now first up is the Yersha. This star brings obstacles, delays, and setbacks. Basically, your progress is hindered until you problem solve. Then comes the swallow trap. This is a potential financial trap, easily avoided. The swallow trap describes a scenario where you're left holding the bag because of someone else's irresponsible financial decisions. So, to mitigate is very, very simple. Do not, under any circumstances, I don't care how much you love them, co-sign loans or stand as a guarantor for other people's financial burdens. With the swallow trap, there is a risk that something might happen. Maybe they're not able to pay, and then maybe it's out of their hands, right? But because of that, you're left holding the bag, and we don't want that. And if these trigger, these two, then guess what happens next? The sixth harm triggers disillusionment. It also heightens our vulnerability to betrayal. So on the one hand, emotionally, it amplifies the small discomforts until they feel overwhelming. And when the feelings starts getting too loud, that's when many people will give up, simply because they don't want to feel that way anymore. On the other hand, the sixth harm, it makes us vulnerable to the consequences of other people's bad decisions. So discernment is the key. Okay, so can you see how many times that discernment has shown up on the slides, right? So now, basically in 2026, the ox needs to practice some common sense, although nowadays it's uncommon sense. Okay, and should betrayals happen or feelings run unchecked, then relationship starts to fracture. That's where the sky star starts to kick in, this last one. Okay, this star causes problems in two ways. Number one, your progress may be hindered because you need to take time off to help a family member who is suffering from some drama. And number two, progress hindered due to disharmonious relationships, either in the office or at home. Okay, so constant bickering, low-grade tension, basically something in your environment might be triggering these issues. Basically, this is telling you got a feng shui problem. Now, let's rewind a little and let's just connect the dots, okay? So maybe you were flying high, Emperor Star, National Treasure, fully activated, okay? Or maybe those stars were there, but you didn't quite step into them yet. Either way, life throws a curveball. Brutal defeat. The momentum starts to take a hit. Then that hit triggered the setbacks. Okay, cue the Yersha. Okay, and maybe you avoided the swallow trap. Good for you. But perhaps the setbacks from the Yersha felt worse because the sixth harm started amplifying the emotional toll. And from there, the sky sha enters, causing friction in relationships because, well, by then, let's be honest, you're feeling borderline pissed all the time. So what I'm describing, actually, guys, is a downward spiral. Now, I know it's easy to stand here and say, hey, guys, focus on the positive. But before you slap me, okay, let me rephrase. Find yourself caught in this spiral. The solution is to change the perspective. Okay, mo jun ngao gok jim. Don't keep ramming your horns against the corner of the wall. So what to do? Please be option-minded, be open to new perspectives. Either shift your objective or change how you play the game. Now, because if you get caught in this entire maelstrom of emotions, this downward spiral of setback, stress, and strained relationships, the dark sky is right there waiting to pull you deeper. This star hits both emotionally and physically. On the emotional side, melancholy, self-doubt, a pessimistic outlook, the sense of being weighed down by constant worry. And in this scenario, coming together with the Emperor star, it can get worse because it's lonely at the top. Emperors are at the top. They have nobody to share their feelings with. So they have to internalize everything. And when your emotional energy dips for too long, what happens next? Your physical wellness takes the hit. The dark sky is a red flag that your immune system could weaken if you let the emotional spiral run unchecked. But remember earlier I said the ox has 3 great stars? Okay, so where's the third one? Here it comes now, right? And it's the key to flipping everything around. Enter the dragon virtue. So just to let you know, this is one of the most prized stars in the entire zodiac system. Think of it as a supercharged nobleman and problem-solving engine all rolled into one. Let me tell you this, when the dragon virtue pairs with the emperor star, the ox becomes, literally, despite all this, one of the titans of 2026. It doesn't just boost your power and authority, it multiplies your access to resources, key people, financial support, knowledge, skills, and yes, even to other people's skills. This is literally known as a game changer. So better yet, the dragon virtue has the power to dissolve the effects of many of these negative stars like the 6th harm, the sky shard, the dark sky. How? You have to work with it proactively. Don't just sit around waiting for luck to drop into your lap. It might happen, it might not, okay? Be adaptable, be resourceful, pivot when the moment calls for, be open to solutions, be conscious of your energy and stop magnifying small problems into monsters. Focus on the solutions, don't focus on your spiral. You know how some people literally go around complaining, oh, my life sucks, okay? Don't do that. Okay? Because the more you complain, the more the suckiness becomes the reality. So one last thing, I know, it looks like the negative stars are outnumbering the positive ones. I know, let me stand out of the way so you can see. Okay, I know. Now, let me tell you this. These 3 guys are not meh stars. Your 3 positive stars, they are not, they are heavy hitters. Okay, and if you're wondering, how do I activate them? Well, I got something to tell you. Okay, so here's the deal. 2026 brings the ox some serious muscle, but also quite a few tripwires. Okay, so if you have been watching this and you're thinking, I don't want to just coast through, I want to make use of them, then that is exactly what Hack My 2026 is created for. This is a strategy session, okay? We help you pull information out of your 八字奇门 feng shui charts, okay? Because we're pulling multiple disciplines together to help you create a strategy for 2026. So if you're interested, just scan the QR code or the link is in the description. Now, let's roll up our sleeves and head into your 4 pillars breakdown. Now, if you're born in the year of the ox, this pillar governs your industry space and the circle of people that you are professionally or socially linked to, whether it's, whether formally or informally. So in 2026, shifting trends within your industry are opening up gaps to be discovered. Discovered by whom exactly? Well, apparently, emperors, basically industry leaders. So it's the year to lean into brand leadership, whether you're building a business or rising through the ranks. With the national treasure in play, there's a real chance of being spotted, spotlighted, or even celebrated. So these two, Emperor Star and Dragon Virtue, suggest that key people, the kind who makes things happen with a single call, are within reach this year, but they're not going to show up in your house. You have to create the surface, the surface so that serendipity can happen. Show up, speak up, let your reputation do the work, but give it a stage. Next, now, the month pillar governs your professional life and your business operations. Okay, so now these positive stars are often easier for career professionals to activate. This is your window to ask for what you have earned: promotion, pay bump, role upgrades, especially if you have laid down the groundworks in 2025. But here's the smart move, okay? Even if things are going well, always have an exit strategy in mind. Why? Because with the stars like brutal defeat and disaster in the mix, okay, sudden disruptions are possible. Could be restructuring, could be surprise reshuffle. So don't assume stability. Always have a plan B in place. Now, if you're a business owner, obviously you're not waiting for a promotion, right? But that makes the national treasure even more critical. This is the time to tighten your back end, reinforce financial and asset controls, create diversified revenue streams, maybe better stock management, build shock absorbers into your business model. Okay, especially businesses that are more vulnerable to policy or economic shifts. Okay, and here's a practical reminder. Okay, stay in the know. Keep your finger on the pulse of industry changes, regulations, and market shifts, so that you can plan ahead. In short, don't fly blind. Okay, and absolutely don't just fly with one wing. Now, if the ox is in your day, then this is the pillar that is tied to your physical self, your home environment, and your most intimate relationships. Now, let's start with the good stuff. With the Emperor Star, the National Treasure, and the Dragon Virtue in your corner, 2026 is the perfect year to build or upgrade your current financial plan. How are you managing your household budget? What's the growth strategy for your money? If you don't already have the plan, then this is your cue to start future-proofing your finances. Okay, but here's where it gets real. Okay, no thanks to the Six Harm and Sky Sha. Emotional regulation is going to be one of the key for you in 2026. This combo can definitely trigger tension, disappointment, and frustration, which creates misalignment in your closest relationship. Obviously, both parties need to be committed for this to happen, because it takes two hands to clap, right? Okay, so whatever the issue, if you want to keep the relationship, fix it in 2026. Don't wait for the clash to happen in 2027. By then, how to stop? Okay, now, ox in the hour. Okay, the strategy here is rather similar to the day pillar, but with a long-term lens, okay, because the hour represents future. So if the day pillar is your household budget, then the hour pillar is your future earnings, your investments, your legacy, your children, even your staff all live here. Okay, your fur kids also live here. So you want to talk about generational wealth. This is the pillar that we're talking about. Okay, so which means, yes, okay, we're back to financial architecture. But now it's not about building structure anymore. Building structure lives in the day pillar, but right now in the hour, it's about creating something that protects what you have earned and also creates value for the future. For example, diversifying, creating asset protection measures, leveraging on new tools, resources, or collaborators. You want to do something for your kids? Well, this is the best time to start the education fund, or better yet, teach them about money. And here's the warning. The brutal defeat is in the mix. So please do your due diligence. No all-in bets and no get-rich quick temptation. Okay, so speculative investing is a little high risk in 2026, so rein it in because again, brutal defeat. Okay, what about your team? Well, let's be honest. Someone might be acting like a little Napoleon, bossy, loud, maybe a tad too confident, maybe. So the solution, you formalize their role. They're gonna act like a mini emperor. You might as well make sure that they're pulling their weight. Okay, and across the board for the ox, across the board, please, no co-signing, nothing with nobody. Okay. So if you have enjoyed this sharing, okay, please don't be shy about hitting the subscribe and like button, okay? So here are other ways that we can work together. If a 3-day workshop is not your cup of tea, then and you prefer something quick and fast, within 90 minutes, just give me a tailored plan. Then this is the, I do offer 八字 consults, okay? Just to let you know, I'm a solo practitioner, so my calendar gets full real fast. Okay, if you need your space to work harder for you, I also offer feng shui audits. Now you can email, if you scan this, it's going to send an email to me, okay? Because quotes are sent on a per case basis. Also, FYI, I generally don't accept new feng shui clients in January or February because I need to honor my 八字 clients. Okay, and finally, if you're ready to deepen your understanding of 八字, or if you're thinking that, hey, maybe this could be a valuable skill to have so that I can pivot to become a 八字 practitioner as well in the future, then let me introduce you to my 八字 blueprint course. This is designed specifically for those who want to become consultants, okay? So I also have a crazy horse promotion running right now. So if you are interested and we're at the point of checkout, just type crazy horse, that's CRAZEEHORSE, one word, and you get to enjoy a nice discount. Okay, so before we wrap things up, let's take a quick peek at your 2026 buddies and see how they're doing. Number one, the rat. Okay, they're deep in transformation mode. Okay, big changes, heavy shifts, lots going on here. So unless you plan to show up with your dragon virtue all activated and stuff, okay, maybe don't poke the rat, okay, because there are other better people to deal with. Next, the snake. Okay, thriving, yes, also very, very busy. Approach with caution, or at least approach with a calendar invite. And the rooster. This is the golden goose, loaded with nobleman stars and creative energy. Go ahead, horn in on the rooster. Ideas, support, collaboration, all on the table. So there you have it, the Ox's year of power moves, solid gains, and unshakable momentum. And with that, let me wish you 恭喜發財, 盤滿缽滿. May your plans be steady, your wealth be plenty, and your bowls always be full. I'm Pauline Cheng. Thank you for trusting me to guide you through this journey. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. You know I read them. Okay, and when you're ready to engage, you know where to find me. See ya.